Welcome to the tea table. I am so happy you've joined me today. And I feel like we are here by the bay. We are anywhere in the world. I'm thinking of the Mediterranean, the Riviera that goes into the Mediterranean, sitting on a balcony and having tea. The universal drink from all around the world. Well, if you haven't gotten your tea yet, please pause and get your tea, and I will be waiting for you. Today I have a special, it looks like a beautiful cake, but what it is, it's a beautiful bouquet. It's a bouquet of flowers that my friend Patricia gave me from her garden. And they are all symbolic, beautiful flowers. They came in this jar. We have the Charlotte Rose, the yellow, the Heritage Deep Pink, and over here we have the baby pink Queen Elizabeth and little baby hydrangeas. It's a posy. And I thought they belong in this lovely Austrian dish. Now, I don't know what this would be used for other than fruit or a compote or flowers. But I thought that's our cake. We'll have a flower cake today. It's so warm here, people aren't eating much. But I did not forget a dessert for my little tea people especially. Well, this is my tray today, and it has a variety of floral roses tea things, and I'll show you. I started thinking, the rose is the rose is the rose. It is used so often on art and china. And this is the cup I've chosen today to use. This cup is actually from Bavaria. It's very, very old. And it's that Bavarian china that has a kind of a chalky look. I washed it and I'm going to... It's roses again with that wonderful kind of a French green. I love this. It's probably my favorite combination. And then I have a little baby cup for my little tea people. Isn't that sweet? That rich pink. Yes. And I have a sugar bowl that is very much in keeping. And it has again the rose theme. Just so sweet, so sweet. Now, the cream pitcher is the best of all. Look at the roses, all roses and gold. These are all different pieces that I've just put together. They're all in the family of roses. And for the dessert, okay, this is a very special dish that also has all kinds of flowers. You see the flowers? And I've often used this dish on my Sunday table for my jam. I always have my homemade berry freezer jam for my Sunday dinner. Well, today, I don't know if you can quite see it. I'm a little farther away today, but it's strawberry shortcake, see? And that's for all you wonderful, well, all the tea people, but the little people really need a treat. It doesn't matter if it's hot. They have to have a treat. Now, this is my favorite thing of all. This is a little silver, and it has so much design on it. On top is a lion. This is a ship, and there's hieroglyphics. It's called, they had in the 1930s, the Egyptian revival. It was when the archaeologists went and discovered all the old ancient archaeological findings in the Middle East and especially Egypt. And so this is actually called a maple syrup jug, but I'm using it for tea. And I'm going to take my little green cup and I'm going to pour out. There it is. See, it works great for tea. It could also work good for, sometimes on the English tea table, they'll put a little jug of hot water in case the tea is too strong for some, and then a little milk. And on an evening tea tray in England, they will have malted kind of a hot cocoa and hot milk and hot water, decaffeinated drinks to help you sleep. Okay, do you have your tea? Let's try it. Oh my goodness, that is fabulous. That is fabulous out of this little cup. These little cups, they don't look like they hold a lot, but they actually do. I have a little miniature creamer I will bring to my tea table soon. And it looks so little, it looks like a child's. And yet I measured it out. It holds a half a cup of milk or half and half cream. And it's so little, it's the shape. It's very interesting. All these designs, because all through the years, for the last couple hundred years, tea came really to England in the 1600s when Sir Walter Raleigh went around the world. He was Queen Elizabeth's famous shipman, and they brought back tea from China and India, and then coffee from the Middle East. And suddenly the British people fell in love with it. It was such an essential drink in that cold, freezing climate. And it was very expensive. And then as more and more trade happened, it became affordable for the average person. And so then tea became such a special event in England and Great Britain and all of their Commonwealth, the empire, that the China factories went crazy. And the China originally did come from China, and then they started inventing ways of making China and the European continent. Almost all of these today are the German-Austrian. And like I said, their method is a little different. The English, they call it bone china because they actually put ground bones in it to give it a strength. And it's amazing how English bone china, you think it looks so fragile. It's very strong. I have very rarely had a broken dish through all my years of having different kinds of china. I do take good care of it, but I don't treat it overly gently. I wash it, and some I put in the dishwasher. If there's a lot of gold on the china and it's old, then I don't put it in the dishwasher. But sometimes, a vase, I love to put my vases in the dishwasher because it just makes them sparkle. And so all of this wonderful stuff was invented for the tea table, for you and I to have a wonderful tea time. Yes. And so then afternoon tea became almost ceremonial in England, 4 o'clock tea. And then as workers got better conditions and better hours, they would give them a morning tea break. And then at night, I was in many English homes, they still roll out the tea cart with all the different, they have little cookies they call biscuits. What we call cookies, they call biscuits. What we call little muffins, they call cookies. Interesting. And they'll bring the biscuit, a little plain biscuit with tea before you go to bed. Now, I stayed in many British homes, and there was a characteristic that happened to me many occasions. The man of the house would get up early and come down the hall with a tray of tea and knock on the door and give you a cup of hot tea while you were in your room before you had gotten ready, and it would have milk in it. It was already prepared. It would be hot tea with a little milk, and you would have that, and it was so refreshing, a wonderful way to awaken. And so the tea goes on and on. And actually, you know, everyone talks about hydrating. Well, tea hydrates. It does. And it's in the winter, it's a good way to hydrate because it's warm also. Yes, well, I'm wearing fun things today. It's so hot here. And I put on kind of an orange-pink jewelry. And it has a matching headband and earrings. And I originally was wearing a white dress, but then I found this, and I thought these flowers on my, I'm going to move forward just a little bit so I can be a little closer to you. I got really far away today on the talk. There, now I'm a little closer. Well, so I found this black top that has these wonderful kind of peachy orange flowers. And I've told you before, I don't really believe in throwing things out. If they're still good, I still like them, I keep them. And what I've discovered is summer clothing never goes out of style. And in the Pacific Northwest, our summer clothing doesn't really start being worn until July, maybe end of June, the real summer clothing. This year, not until mid-July. And then we'll generally have wonderful weather all the way through early October, mid-October. You'll feel that autumn fresh air, but sunny days. And then generally by the end of October, a big storm comes, usually Halloween weekend, and all the leaves blow away, and welcome winter. So we have waited a long time for this beautiful sunshine, and I am intending to thoroughly enjoy it. It's actually too hot to go on walks right now during the day, so I haven't been walking the lake. But I have been watering my flowers, and that really cools one down, doesn't it? There are ways to cool off. And where we live, this is morning sun. This is morning, and so we get a lot of morning sun, and then the sun goes over, and it's not so bad. Sadly, we don't see the sunsets, but we see the sunrise. So everyone has something different. Some people have both. We lived out in a house once, we built in Mason County, when all our kids were young, and we built a house out on 5 acres, and it was called Majestic View Drive. Now, there was a reason for that name. We had a full sunrise. We saw Mount Rainier on one side, and we had a full sunset. We saw all the Olympic Mountains on the other in the west. And I remember being there one night in the summer, and an electrical storm happened. And it was the most beautiful event to me, because as I looked out, and the Olympic Mountains, they're miles away, at least 2-hour drive, or maybe an hour and a half drive to get to the entrance. Well, they're outlining the sky, and it's dark now, and the stars are out, it's a clear night, and the lightning struck and opened up. You could see this whole vista of mountains, and then the thunder rolled, and then the lightning struck, and we'd see jagged lightning, and it was like a slideshow. The mountains were in, out, up. That was so beautiful. And we lived there for quite a time, And then our kids grew up, and guess what happened to that property? It was on an old Christmas tree farm. The trees grew up, all surrounding properties. The trees grew up, and I have a brother named David, and he was in a tree business for years, and he always told me, Susan, there's no guaranteed view in the Pacific Northwest. None, because trees will come and take it. And guess what? That's a huge forest now, and it's on Simpson land, which is tree land, and it goes miles and miles. That place where we live, now you cannot see Mount Rainier or the Olympics. Isn't that amazing? Because the trees have taken it. Well, we moved anyway, so it all worked out. However, always remember that if you build a house and you think you have a secure view, make sure you have control over the trees. In this area, we are the evergreen state, and there's a reason for that. We have trees everywhere. And on our road out here, we have the highest trees because we are like the beginning. Where we live is kind of the beginning of the rainforest. It takes an hour to get into the real rainforest, but it seems that everything is massive. And these fir trees are 150 feet high all along this road, and maples. And so if you're going to ever build something, make sure your view is secure. And you know, our view of life is very important. Are we looking for the good in others? Are we looking for the good in our circumstances? We have a choice every day. We can find the good, or we can find the bad. I think a wise person looks to find the good and become grateful for all the good. And that is the same way with friends. We have friends. We all have friends, and we all have family. And everyone has strong points. Let's focus on that. Whatever you appreciate gets better. It's a true principle. Whatever you depreciate gets worse. So if you want that person that you are close to get better, speak good words. Notice the good things they're doing. I remember when my children were little, and many of you will remember this too. There was a little thing going around in the schools and in training children, and it was getting a sticker from a teacher or a parent, and it was called I got caught doing good sticker. Instead of I got caught doing bad, it was I got caught doing good. Being kind to someone, including others in play. And my oldest son, Michael, has always been inclusive, so inclusive of everyone. And when he was in school, we were all at a very small private school in Mason County, and the principal said, all my kids were there, I've never had a student do what Michael does. He goes on the playground and he brings peace and he includes everyone. And I thought, wow, that's the highest compliment anyone has ever given me. And I'm not saying this to be bragging or anything. I'm just saying it to encourage you that how much power if a young child 12 years old had that kind of power, how much power we have to go into the world, go into a room with people, bring a smile, bring a good word, bring a genuine compliment, and change the atmosphere. and bring happy thoughts to people. Let people know they're doing a good job. You know, there are not enough workers anywhere. And I have been noticing now, because of that, every time someone serves me something or I get a coffee, I purposely tell that person, you are doing a great job. Thank you for doing your job, because you are working hard and that has great value. And they are so surprised, but it's true, and especially young people to know working hard is where the joy is. It's creation. How you serve and make a cup of coffee is very important. How you serve someone in a restaurant, how you make them feel when they come in, to make them feel welcome. And my husband and I just got back from a little trip. We went over to see our new baby, grandchild, and we met the nicest people along the way. So many wonderful people, so many happy people. And there was we stopped in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, at a Starbucks. I highly recommend this Starbucks. It's at the exit where the Cracker Barrel is. It's a new development. And I've never been in a more positive, fantastic. It was 5 times the size of most Starbucks. It was all glass windows, natural light, daylight. It was the happiest place. Everyone there, they made us the best coffee. And I said to the girl, she goes, we love working here. We love this. We love the natural light. They were so happy, positive. And I said, you have made us the best coffee I've ever had at any Starbucks. It was a pour over Verona. It was delicious. And they were so happy, these young people. And they said, thank you so much for telling us that. I said, it's true. This is a wonderful place. We can enjoy and reflect back the beauty. And we went through the Bitterroot Mountains up to Wisdom, Montana. It's called the Big Hole, and I found out why. It's the Big Valley, 6,000 feet high, and got to see this little precious, beautiful, brand new little baby girl. So sweet. Oh my, so sweet. And we were driving along the road, and you know, not a lot grows there because it's so high. But we saw these weeded flowers. They were purple. And so I picked a bouquet. I still don't know what they are. They smelled so wonderful, almost like a special soap smell. Wonderful. But I found out the Bitterroot Mountains are named for a flower. It's the Montana flower. It's a pink, almost looks like that, like a rose. And it's a beautiful pink flower that grows, and it's the Montana state flower called the Bitterroot. And up in Wisdom, where we were, is where Lewis and Clark met Sacagawea. And there's a big center there. Oh my, Montana is God's country. Whoa, it's so big. Big sky indeed. We had such a wonderful time. It was short, but it was fabulous. And then driving back through beautiful Idaho and Lake, Coeur d'Alene Lake. Oh my goodness, Coeur d'Alene, that lake is miles long. Right in the middle with all the green trees. And then we went over, kept driving through there's a George Washington, which is at the gorge, the big Columbia Gorge, where they have the big concerts. Then we kept driving and got to Vantage, and it goes across the Columbia River, and then on to Ellensburg, and then over the Snoqualmie Pass. Beautiful this time of year. Oh my, breathtaking, just breathtaking. And all of that is fairly quiet traffic, very little traffic, and then, whoa, you hit I-90 and Highway 18. Hello, world. Western Washington, crazy traffic. Oh boy, but the beauty here is so great. That's why there's so much traffic. Everyone wants to come and enjoy it. And I understand. Well, see if you can find a little bouquet for your table. I love this miniature. It's like in a miniature jar. So it's a little bouquet and it has all the colors, all the flowers. So beautiful. And my friend told me put a teaspoon of sugar in the water and it preserves the flowers. Isn't that nice? So it's time for fresh flowers, hot tea, and whatever else you can get for the tea table. I actually think fresh fruit is so nice this time of year on the tea table. Fresh fruit is always nice. And I have noticed that the cherries have been so fabulous. We got some wonderful cherries over in Eastern Washington. And the peaches and the nectarines. This time of year, so much. You really don't need much more than that with tea. Very nice. Well, it's been so good to be with you today. And I hope you're having a good week. Try to stay cool. And I will look forward to seeing you next time.